Shalom. First, I'd like to start off by giving all great honor to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem, Rakakdash. The belongings of teachers, elders, and the boss of great millstone, likewise, brothers, put on this truth. Faithfully, fearlessly feeding the sheep and deep brothers and sisters tuning in. Shalom. Today's lesson's titled, Fight That Inner Nigger for the Crown of Life. Now, we all have that inner nigger inside of us, okay? If we didn't, we wouldn't, be striving so hard to please the Lord, Yahweh Shai, it would have been perfect. But since we're not perfect, we have those inner battles, okay, that we have to face. Because while you walk in the light currently, you still have that darkness, okay, that looms ever so close to your mind, okay, because that old man, okay, is just waiting for the opportunity to take over your body, to take over your mind, your spirit. And it doesn't help much when you have the outside world that is viewing what we're doing as a waste of time. It's fruitless. We're brainwashed, we're delusional to believe that we are the true biblical Hebrew Israelites, and why don't we get on board with the rest of the world moving forward, okay, into this new world order, okay? But this is where we have to fight. Let's start off with our first scripture here. This is the book of Luke 13, starting verse 24, and it reads, Strive to enter in at the straight gate. For many, I say unto you, will seek to enter in, and shall not be able. Let's take a look at that word strive in the ordinary dictionary, and it means make great efforts to achieve or obtain something, okay? Struggle or fight vigorously, and this is what we do, okay? We are striving to please the Lord, Yahweh Shai. We are striving to remain faithful to the Mashiach, to be his servant, to do his work that he has commanded us to do, which is go on the highway and the byway, and bid us many that would hear or forbear these words to come in. Okay, eat from the fruit of that will give you life. Okay, this is book of Matthew 7 and starting with verse 13, because this is the mindset that the world will try to put you in a complacent state, kind of like in that last right mentality, prior to understanding who the true power was, okay, and who the true power is, okay. We believe in that Christianity BS up there, where, just before you die, you just make the sign of the cross and pray for sweet loving Jesus to forgive all your sins, okay. No works, no commitment to life changes, for righteousness, just, complacent in your entire life. Okay, and it reads, Enter ye in the straight gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leadeth to destruction, and many there be which go in thereat. Because straight is the gate, and narrow is the way which leadeth unto life, and few there be that find it. Okay, it's easy to follow the masses. Okay, the masses, they're gonna adapt to whatever the so-called white man, the devil that the Bible speaks of, bring forth, okay? And we can see right now with the technocracy, okay, 6G is about to be implemented. We know the MOTP is going to be implemented real soon, okay? And this is going to be an acceptance, because it's the achievement, okay, and the glory of the so-called white man, and the subjects that believe that he is their power, he's their God, okay, are not going to question the ill will or the ill intention of this man. Okay, it says, beware of false prophet which come to you in sheep clothing, but inwardly they are ravening wolves. Okay, so the Lord Yahweh Shai, of course, he's in control of everything, and he has set up those false prophets out there. Okay, and we know those false prophets. We can start off with the Christian ones. Okay, the Christian prophets, the ones with the shaved face and the bald head, and they sing the hymns and get the collection and have the food after the sermon. It's a jolly good time. Okay, so it keeps those people in that mirth spirit. And then of course we have the other false prophet that do wear the fringes, that are out there in the highway and the byway on the unicorn, okay, that are agents of this devil, okay, that is misleading people. But they speak that we are the children of Israel, okay, the true biblical Hebrew Israelites, but at the same time, okay, they're confusing our people, okay, with false doctrine. Let's go to the book of Ephesians 6 and starting with verse 11. It reads, Put on the whole armor of power, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. Let's take a look at that word vials. Okay, this is very important, as you can see how this is going to basically keep that inner nigger in you active, okay, if you allow it to overcome you without the armor of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. And it means devious or cunning stratagems employed in manipulating or persuading someone to do what one wants, okay? And Esau is very, very good at that. Think about, okay, how he tempted Eve in the garden, okay? And Adam, of course, was tempted to follow, what Eve was tempted by, okay? He was persuaded by Eve, okay, to sin, okay? So we're seeing right now, okay, how this devil manipulates everyone on this earth. He can make good seem evil. He can make evil seem good. Okay, and he has a whole host, okay, of evildoers that are ready to go out there and persuade you, okay, to follow in their ways. It says, "For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places." Okay, so this is that demon, okay, that nigger. Okay, that you wake up every morning to wrestling. This nigga wants to go through a career, wants to go back to his old ways. He wants to reach out to all the family members that are out there that you used to have fun with, or new family members that are suddenly now, oh wow, this is new. Okay, he wants to get out there and just get that last hoorah. Okay, and you're wrestling. Okay, the good thing I can say about it is that for the most part, brothers are winning. In fact, I'm going to say we're winning. We are winning because we put on that armor of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai. So we have to continue to fight. This is Ephesians 5 and verse 3 says, "But fornication, all uncleanness and covetousness, let it not be once named among you, or us become it saints." Okay, so we become saints. And as niggers, we had all of these things. We were covetous, we had a lot of uncleanness about us. It says, "Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor jesting, which are not convenient, but rather giving of thanks. For this ye know that no whoremonger, no unclean person, no covetous man, who is an adulterer, had any inheritance in the kingdom of Mashiach and of power. Let no man deceive you with vain words, for because of these things cometh the wrath of power upon the children of disobedience." Okay, so this is the reason why you don't really deal with people, unless you have to, of course, out there in the world. Okay, and if you do deal with them, you make it short, concise, to the point. Okay, and of course, we know that there are different levels of these demons that are out there. Obviously you're going to avoid the ones that are really the true ones, the ones that are really going to bring that nigger, okay, or give that nigger in you the upper hand. Okay, and yes, we do have it inside of us because we haven't gotten that new spiritual body yet. Okay, so it's a struggle. It's a mental struggle. Okay, and of course we deal with people in the world, and of course it's a physical struggle. To get that pride that want to come on to you. Hey, you remember what you were, man? You remember what you gave up? That opportunity is still there. You can balance both of it, man. You know these scriptures. You can, maybe you can convert people out there at your job, or maybe you can work people out there that are up above, or something. Or maybe you can make Esau see the light, or whatever the case is. Believe it or not, these are shit. Okay, these are things that nigger inside of you will try to convince you. Okay, and you have to battle and fight that. Okay, because that's the wide path. Okay, that most people will take, and this is where you see the fallouts are going. Okay, and the Lord Yahweh, He knows each and every one of us more than we know ourselves. He knows which one of us is going to collapse or give up. Okay, this is Revelation 21 and starting with 7. This is a true characteristic of the niggers. Okay, that the Lord Yahweh don't want. Okay, this is that nigger that you battle every day. He has all his characteristics. He said, "He that overcometh shall inherit all things, and I will be his power, and he shall be my son." But the fearful, see, a nigger is fearful, and unbelieving, he's unbelieving, and the abominable, and murderers, and whoremongers, and sorcerers, and adulterers, and all lies shall have their part in the lake, which burneth with fire and brimstone, which is the second death. Okay, so we don't want that. We don't want that, and this is why you have that struggle. Okay, you can see things. If you had a gambling addiction, you no longer, you don't, You don't want to go out in a casino, stand up at a blackjack table, or you know what? Let me just play one hand just for old time's sake. Nah, don't do it. You know, if you are addicted to pornography, you know, don't go and watch one. Okay, let me go see how it impacts me right now. You don't want to test that. You don't want to test it. Okay, anything that you used to do, if you are a womanizer, you don't want to get into that. Okay, it can pull you away. Okay, and there are brothers who have been pulled away because of that. You know, other things. Vanity, those things. People around you that are into the world. Let's go for dinner, and you know, they like to talk about their accomplishments, and they want you to talk about your accomplishments or what you used to accomplish, or they want you talk about what you have and all this stuff, and all these things can set up pride, could cause you to have that pride, okay, which the Lord doesn't like. Let's go into 1 Peter 1 and verse 13 says, "Wherefore gird up the loins of your mind, be sober, and hope to the end for the grace that is to be brought unto you at the revelation of a Mashiach. As obedient children, not fashioning yourselves according to the former lust in your ignorance." So we were ignorant. The Lord knows we were ignorant. Okay, I can speak personally for myself. I was so ignorant there. I spent decades, chasing after everything in the world. Okay, and I wanted it all. Okay, and you didn't know. Okay, because again, the wolves in sheep clothing. They told you, hey, God is blessing you, so to speak, and just be a good person. That's all you have to do. Just be a good person. You have to do no works. Just be a good person. And of course, I didn't know what works was all about until, of course, I came into the true truth. Okay, then I realized that, okay, faith without works is null and void. Okay, it says, "But as he which hath called you is holy, so be ye holy in all manner of conversation, because it is written, be holy, for I am holy." Okay. Let's go into Romans 8 and Star Wars 35, okay? Because we have to defeat the mind game. We have to be the winner of the mind game, and it is a mind game, okay? And along the way, on this narrow path to righteousness and to get that crown of life, okay? You're going to get bumps and bruises, okay? Ego shattered, okay? You got to take L's after L's after L's after L's, and be humble in spirit, even though, boy, that nigga in you want to boast so bad. Oh, it wants to boast. It wants to boast so bad. Okay? This is Romans 8 and Star Wars 35 reads, "Who shall separate us from the love of Mashiach? Shall tribulation or distress or persecution or famine or nakedness or peril or sword? As it is written, for thy sake we are killed all day long. We are counted as sheep for the slaughter." So we have to know that, okay? This reason why, we bring out lessons of hope. Okay, you have to eat the whole roll, of course, the good and the bad, but of course we bring a lesson of hope that no matter what we're going to be facing, we are going to be facing some hardship. Okay, at the end of the day, okay, think of Yahushua and what he did, and the ultimate sacrifice, what he did, and he perished, and God horribly put to death, much younger than many of us, at the age of 33, much younger than many of us. So think about that as a young man when you really should be having the time of your life. You're dying for an innumerable amount of people. Okay, you're dying for them, and that this is why we give glory and honor and thanks to Yahweh Shema Shai, and we especially really like to glorify the name of Yahweh Shai that he did it for us. He did it for us. He's the one that's speaking to the Most High on our behalf. Let's go to the book of Baruch 4 and verse 25 reads, "My children, suffer patiently the wrath that has come upon you from power, for thine enemy had persecuted thee. But shortly thou shalt see his destruction and shall tread upon his neck," which is what we're looking forward to. We're looking to see the destruction of this devil. Okay, there's a lot of snares, okay, which is those snares and those things that are put before us, and we're getting ready to see 6G, and we're going to see the real sorcery of this man when it comes forward. And we're not going to be a part of it. Okay? We're going to be ostracized from society. But we know his destruction is going to come immediately as he thinks that he is going to enslave the entire earth. It says, "My delicate ones have gone rough ways and were taken away as a flock caught of the enemies. Be of good comfort, O my children, and cry unto power. For ye shall be remembered of him that brought these things upon you." So we know everything we suffer, the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai is bringing upon us. So that means what? He can take it off of us too. Okay, in fact, we are seeing that right now, pursuant to Deuteronomy 30 and 7. We are seeing our enemies right now are suffering. Look at the chaos that's going out there in Minneapolis. Okay, they didn't do that when when a so-called Negro or Latino or Hispanic was shot. But boy, now see, this is how the Lord works. Okay, and we'll go into that another time. He says, "For us it was your mind to go astray from power, so being returned, seek him 10 times more. For he had brought these plagues upon you, shall bring you everlasting joy with your salvation." So there's a crown of life after going through all of this. So, just like how Mashiach got to go through his, tribulation to get his crown and to get all of this rulership that he's going to share with us. Okay, so we have to go through too, and this is a little test for us, and it's minor in comparison to what the Lord could have really have done to us, which is give us over to our demonic nigger mindset, and we perish. Okay, so to Adi Abashim Kakadash, okay, for giving us the strength to overcome that inner nigger and hopefully be the ones that's going to get the crown of life. Lord willing, the lack was edified. I close up by giving all glory and honor to Yahweh Bashim, Yahweh Shai Bashim Kakadash, Shalom.